Good. So, what are the challenges of learning in the age of artificial intelligence? Before starting, we are going to analyze the current situation, and we are just going to go some years ago to know from where we come from. So we come, all of us, from the digital era. The digital era that started in 2007 with the launch of this phone, this iPhone, that really changed our life, that impacted the way we communicate and created a new way of communication. This digital era where we all are faced with the rise of social media. Nowadays, we do not exist if we are not in social media. All kind of businesses, small, medium, and large business are on social media. The new ways of communication, because now we use our phone not to communicate, not to talk, but just to send an SMS. We talk by sending messages. We even ask for permission. Just, are you free to talk? We have forgotten really the way that it's important that we keep of interacting. In this digital area, we are more globalized than ever. And the proof is today that we are connected from different parts of the world, and we are all at the same time connecting different time zones, but sharing the same knowledge and sharing also the same values. People are living now, some in a phone or a tablet, and you can see it in restaurants. Some families and even friends go to have lunch together, but they are not talking to each other. They just, all of them, looking at the phone, looking at the social media, and they are not interacting. And life can be in a platform. It's really what our children, teenagers, are living today. The Alpha generation, speaking about children, about teenagers, they were born, so this Alpha generation, it's the generation that was born in 2010 up to 2020. Even now, we can still say that it's the Alpha generation. This generation has been led by a complete digital world, completely different than all of us that are here today connected. So we did, when we were born, digital media was not our tools to play. We had to adapt, and now we are used to use it, but it was not like before. And this happens, as we will see, in all kinds of technology. It's a breakthrough. We think, wow, the change is coming, how I'm going to do it, but then we get used to it. What is happening with this Alpha generation? Because it's really what impacts us. What is happening to the kids, to the teenagers? Their life now, it's more as a video game that they are not playing outside as we used to do. We used to go to the park and play football, play soccer. And now they are playing this soccer, but in a video game. The video game, it's more important than being with other friends outside playing soccer. Netflix, that it's another way of being in a marathon of TV screening, but not socializing. So, is this an opportunity? Or is it a threat for them? More than ever, it's up to us how. Our role is very important, and Rayat tell it at the beginning in the first conference. How are we going to teach children or all parents, mothers, fathers? How are you going to tell your child to use technology? Because technology can really be a great value used in a well manner. What is happening with the AI era? What is AI? AI is a technology that finally enables computers, because it's computers, to perform human skills. But what important, and for me, the most important thing, computers do not have emotions. Computers cannot, never, because computers are done by humans. So who are more clever? Humans. So we need to have that on mind, that we are the ones who control, and we need to stay in control of this AI. How already AI is impacting our lives? Because we think it's something new, but it's not new. During the last decade, we have already been using AI in social media platforms, in smartphones. Every time you pay, you do a transaction, the e-commerce, but now it's moving to more and more technology as autonomous vehicles. Now they are developing sensors for the eyes in order to check while you are driving, if you are really falling asleep, in order to have a beep in the car so that you can wake up. So AI can be a real help used in a well manner. Smart home, you can now prepare everything from your phone. You can put the temperature on. All the banking and finance sector, all the virtual assistants, the chatbots. So AI is already impacting a lot our life. So this AI era, of course, it's capable of sensing the environment, thinking, learning, and making the machines take decisions. But it's very important what's going to happen to the human brain, because our brain needs to exercise. As we exercise our body, we need to exercise the brain. Before AI, we used to memorize phone numbers. We used to have more creativity, innovate. When we were looking for something that we did not know, we're going to search it on the encyclopedia. Now it's just pushing a button and getting all the content and everything. So what happens? It's that our brain, but most important, the brain of your children, the brain of the teenagers, is getting lazy. It's getting lazy because they are just playing, not reading anymore. What makes that the brain become lazy? And as if you are ill and you stay in bed for 6 months, if your brain becomes lazy because you're playing and not doing any other activity, like the great activities that BusinessKids have and that Lindy showed us just in the presentation before, then your kid will really become lazy. And also, the intelligence of your kids that we will see will go down. What about the next generation that we still do not know how it will be called after this alpha generation? This next generation, it's completely, fully digitalized. They already have the phone in their heads, in their hands. And you can see nowadays, you can see the new baby borns, if they are in a family that love iPads and phones, they do not understand what they read, but they know how to block screens, deblock screens. I've got even friends of mine that ask their children to help them to do the technology things. So it's really their way of life. They are fully digitalized. But just we go back again some years ago to check how technology has always impacted humanity. But what is changing, it's the time, the period it takes to impact us. So the radio took 38 years to go to everybody, to reach 50 million users. Television, TV, took 13 years. Internet, we already decreased, only 4 years. The iPad, 3 years. Facebook, 2 years. And Zoom grew and reached nearly all the planet where internet exists, 3 months. It's true that it was also because of the pandemic that it grew faster and in a very short period. That means that the impact on technology goes very, very fast, and we need to be aware of it. What's next? But before going what's next, that we do not know, it's completely uncertain. I don't know if you know about the Flynn effect, but the Flynn effect that was named like that by Richard Heston and Charles Murray measures since 1938 from the UK, every decade, so every 10 years, how IQ, that it's the intelligence coefficient, the intelligence quotient, how it increased decade by decade. So, for example, your grandfather, then you, and then your child. Decade by decade, since 1938, that they have been measured, this IQ was increasing 2 to 3 points per decade. But what happens? The digital natives, so the ones that were born in 2010, are the first children with a lower IQ. This has really to scare us. And we need to spread the word about that. Because these are figures. These are statistics. And what does it mean? It means that technology can have a very bad impact on childhood. And if you want to learn more about it, I recommend you the book written by Michel Demurguet, who is a French doctor specialized in neuroscience, who wrote this book, The Factory of Digital Chrétiens, The Dangers of Screens for Our Children. In this book, he really shows the impact that technology, not technology, but being in front of a screen for hours and hours and hours will have on your child. And he really says, before 6 years old, a child does not have to do anything with an iPhone. What are the causes of this decrease in IQ? A lot of them. but we can see some of them that really impact the IQ on your child. Less time now for artistic disciplines like reading, painting, or playing soccer outside. Why? Because your child prefers to play a video game. Sedentary life. Before, we used to go to the park, to move more. Now, we are moving less. Fewer hours spent in traditional games like playing chess, playing whatever game that we used to play with our fathers or grandfathers. So the life for your child, it's very easy. So they really lose the capacity to innovate. They do not want to get bored. So as they do not want to get bored, boom, the easy solution, we give them the iPad. We put on the TV. And we decrease the level of socialization. Pollution, it's also another cause of this decrease. Nowadays, we know that in cities, in nearly all big cities, in all the continents, we are facing pollution. So we need, when we can, to go to open air, to go to mountain, to leave sometimes the cities, and to limit the screen time for recreational reasons. We can use computers for educational reasons. We are having less family time because now the child is the king and he decides what he wants to do on Saturday afternoon. Before, I used to go where my mom was going. It was not me who was deciding, no, mom, I'm not coming with you because today I'm staying at home as Marta, my friend, is coming to play with me. No, there was no option for me. Mom was going to have coffee with a friend of hers. And even now, I'm still friend of my mom's friends that I love. And I love to share things with them. It's not happening anymore. No. Because your child is staying at home. Decrease in sleep hours. Why? Of course, because if you are in front of the TV or the iPad or the computer after 9 o'clock, even if you're tired because of the light of the computer, your brain is activated. You are overstimulated. And then you do not go to sleep. And of course, less intellectual stimulation. Because you are just receiving, you are not acting, you are not creating anything. Changes in labor market forecasted. We already saw it also with some figures that show us right at the beginning. But more than 12 million workers in the US will need to change occupations. Of course, technology will change the way we work. We still do not even know how the job of the future will be. We do not know. And we have to prepare children, teenagers, to face that world. And what happens? The school, the education system, everywhere, I will say, Europe, US, America, Asia, is not prepared today to develop certain competence and skills, social skills, because the education is more focused on memorizing things, on the way it used to be done, but we need to adapt and we need to change. But to change a whole education system, it's very difficult because there's the government, there's all the schools that need to agree, need to progress, and the technology is going faster than them. So how it can be? It can be done in a small scale, some schools, BusinessKids, that we can do it. But the big picture, it's difficult to change it because nowadays, even teachers are not trained to use AI. So their students know how to use it, whereas the teachers do not know. Future, it's completely uncertain. But what we know is that there will be job losses. We are on an economic recovery after the pandemic. Industries, companies, even if a lot of them die, others survived, other new were created. We are living in a world very polarized, political change in a lot of countries. Right, left, wars. But what we know, and we are more concerned about, and there's more and more people being concerned about and wanting to do things different, is that we have a new planet and we only have one planet and we need to protect it. And we need to have a new way of living. And of course, in this new planet, we also have this artificial intelligence and robots that are a reality. And we need to know how to use them. What are the opportunities? Because of course we have opportunities and we have seen. Thanks to Zoom, we are here today connected all over the world. So there are positive things. And the same occurs with AI. What's the practical use we can have with AI in education? We can have personalized learning, that it's really important. Why? Because we know that not all children have the same speed on learning. Also, we have some children that are more auditive, others that are visual. And this AI can help us to personalize the training for every student, to give them the right tools so that they can learn at their speed. We also have the chatbots that can provide support and guidance to all students, that can answer questions. Imagine that there's one student that is doing the homework at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, there's not going to be a teacher available to answer his questions. But maybe the basic questions, he will be able to have the answer just with a chatbot. Content generation, the famous ChatGPT, that if we know how to use it, it can help also, and it can help to get content. And then with this content, then we can use our brain to discuss, to create other content, but to have maybe the basics of any topic that we are searching, and then to have it as a discussion. And also the augmented reality technology that can help a lot students, maybe if they are in a history topic, to understand how things were done in the past. It's not the same than to read, that it's important to read, but to really live the experience. But what are the challenges? And there are a lot of challenges, a lot that we have to face. I have summarized 10 of them. First challenge, equity and access. It's really one of the primary challenges facing, and we need to ensure that all AE are accessible to all students. AI cannot be a base so that only specific students will have it and others not. And it's really a risk. Data privacy and security, and this is another great issue and a challenge, because AI is collecting a lot of information about everyone, and this data sometimes breach really the privacy. The bias. Why? Because data was collected. So everything that is done with AI, it's from historic. So it's from data from years ago. And what happened? Imagine a very, very simple example. Some jobs in the past were only done by men, not women. So if we look and search for some normally technology jobs, we will have all the information regarding men, but not women. And we know that we do not act in the same way. And it doesn't mean that the information is wrong, but we need to know that in order to take the right decisions. If not, we're going to take wrong decisions. Fourth challenge: teacher training and support. We need to provide adequate training and support for teachers. Because how are we going to integrate AI if we do not have the tools to use it? So this means, and it requires, that educators need to develop new skills. So it's not only children and teenagers, but it's educators, it's us, it's parents. As we live in this area, we all need to get trained. Ethical considerations, because it needs to be transparent. And there have to be policymakers need to navigate on this wall. And of course, one of the main challenges that we face is the lack of human interaction, that we have seen that it's so important, because we are humans, we are not robots, and we need to communicate, we need to interact. We have emotions, and a robot will not have an emotion. And this is really important in our personal life, in our professional life. And this is an area where BusinessKids, we work a lot with the kids. 7th challenge: the quality of content and assessment. We need to be sure that all this content that is generated is really high quality. Because even nowadays, we know if we do a search in ChatGPT, or if we do a search in Google, we can do it positively or negatively, and we will get both answers. So if I write down, is AA positive? Yes, I will get all the positive things. If I write down, it's AA negative, I will get all the negative. So who is going to decide, is it good or is it bad? It's us, humans, but humans that have values. And we know all that, the whole people that are here today, I know that we do share these values, but not all the people in the planet do share these values. The cost and resource allocation, because AI is costly. It's costly to implement. That's the reason why it's not implemented. If not, it would have been implemented everywhere. And it's difficult to implement it in schools. So again, how are we going? How governments are going to deal with it? The dependence on technology. If you ask now teenagers, or even my brother that is 24 years old, to go from place C to place B, he will use Waze, he will use technology. He doesn't know what's a map, to read a map, why? But technology, we know that sometimes, as it happens with WhatsApp, we lose technology, but not because we lose technology, we cannot live. And I've got this image of this calculator because it's really, I think the image of, we know how to add numbers, but now teenagers do not need a calculator. Everything is done on screens. They do not add anything. They do not make the brain work. And the last challenge, there are more, but I've summarized and I've taken these ones that I believe are the most important. Communication, training, and participation of families, because we are all in the same boat. We are all in this artificial intelligence area. So families need also to be involved. It's not to say, okay, I let the school take the responsibility. I like the government take the responsibility. No. We need all to plant this seed and take this responsibility on how to use AI. And now some questions to think about: pedagogical and ethical implications of this AI. Politically, is AI a political priority? And does it really contribute to better education? Social, does it contribute to the social function of education? Pedagogical, does it offer opportunities to improve education? Ethical, does it contribute to the common good? Is it safe? And emotional, how does it affect emotional education? Some questions to keep on mind. And what are the real challenges for the teacher? I think that most than ever, the teacher needs to show the passion, the experience. This cannot be shown by AI. This cannot be shown by a robot. And I think that the ones that are teachers, that decided to be teachers, you have something really special. It's a vocation. You really want to change and to impact childhood and really bring this passion. Accompany, be with every student, excite him, not make him like memorize things. Don't bore them. And more than now, it's really the competencies that are important rather than what we do. It's how and we do the things we do. So we have to adapt and we have to change. No to memorization. For example, I can talk about Spanish education, that it's kind of changing a little bit, but it is a lot about memorization. I've got the exam, I studied it just the day before. I've got the exam and then I forgot everything. But we do not decide. We need to go for this illusion, the passion, to discover, and as we do in BusinessKids, know that every teenager, every child has its own vocation, has their own strengths. We have to encourage them to do well what they do well. So AI, used well, can really help us. But we do not need to forget the importance of human interactions. That is the essence of BusinessKids, where we want every children, all the teenagers, to do activities together, to discuss, to communicate, to work as a team, things that are not done on the video games. And I want just to share, before ending the presentation, the skills of the leader of the future, because I went to a conference organized by my university that again shows us the importance of these soft skills that are not given by AI and that we need to impact and develop in our children. So these skills you will see here. So it's the strategic priorities in management of people. This survey was done in Spain, and they were asking more than 50 companies, big companies, what were the strategic priorities in management and what is the evolution since 21 and the expectation for 24. And in the first top, it's leadership. And leadership is done by strategical thinking. It's not done by AI. It's not generated by AI because you need to lead people. And the evolution of leadership behaviors. So the first thing is leadership. We know that it's important, but in leadership, there are different types of skills. The ones that are most in demand for the next years to come are encouraging innovation that we do in BusinessKids to make them think out of the box. Lindy shows us in 15 minutes, come on, do a business. We have to envision the change. We have to empower. These are leadership behaviors that are demanded by big companies. And what happens is that these skills today, they do not have it on the people that are in the companies. And these skills are the ones that are most difficult to develop. And these skills are the ones that, if we develop at young age, are more easy to adapt.